Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing day. Have you heard about the virtual pickleball summit that's coming up next week? Hopefully you have. If not, today you're going to hear about it. I will be telling you. For those of you who don't know me, I am CJ Johnson, and I am from Better Pickleball, the YouTube channel here, and hopefully you're one of the followers. If not, I'd love to have you subscribe. I do my own tech. I do my own production on lives. So if you give me just a minute to make sure all my tech is working, I can't tell you how many times I have jumped on and I've had somebody say your microphone isn't working, or we can't hear you, or kind of all of the above. Anyway, in any event, I know that a couple of you are out there, so if you are, please say hello. Tell me where you're calling in from today. And give me just one more second here, and then we're going to get going. So, Virtual Pickleball Summit. Yeah, next week. Already, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It'll be here. It's going to be on YouTube Live. So let me tell you a little bit about it and really kind of how this whole thing came about. There is, wow, no doubt, right? Things have changed. I mean, if you look at this time, it's Thursday, look at this time last Friday, I'm going to guess that most of us were still having a pretty normal life routines. And now that over the last several days, that came to a screeching halt. I know it did for me. We had a storm here, big storm, somewhere between 79 and 114 inches, depending upon where you are around the lake. Had a huge storm, and I was not really hearing a lot about what was going on in the outside world. And all of a sudden, from Saturday to Sunday, life just stopped. And I started looking at the social media, right? Different social medias. And a lot of us, not only did we stop doing life, our outlet for most of us, which is pickleball, stopped as well. And that is how this summit came about. So let me tell you a little bit more about the summit. I also have a couple of other things for you today. I've got a few updates for you. One on COVID-19 and how that relates to pickleball, specifically to pickleball. And then also, if you've got some questions, I would be happy to answer some of your questions. Just do me a favor, because as I told you at the top, I produce my own show. Please put question in front of it. And hello, Wendell in Houston. It's probably warm in Houston today, right? Okay, so I was telling you about this summit. I saw people who were struggling because now they don't have that stress release of playing pickleball. And for some of us, our social aspect is missing as well. Pickleball fills so many voids for all of us. And for, really for everybody, it's different. So Monday morning, I started picking up the phone and calling different YouTube and Facebook influencers. And I have to tell you, the response I got was amazing. Now, several of these people I know, several of these people I don't know. When I started to tell them what I had in mind and that I wanted to do it next week, which I'm sure sounded kind of crazy, I got like 2 sentences out of my mouth and they're like, yeah, I'm in. Yep, you got me. What do you need? How can I help? And I was like, wow, super cool, right? So, and I am going to tell you in just a minute who are the people who are going to be presenting, but I need you to know they're as concerned about the pickleball community as I am in terms of, just how do we replace something that we love so much? So that's how this summer came about. So again, it's first of all, there are 2 things you need to know. Number 1, it's free. Okay, free to you. No charge. It is going to be next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that will be the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. It will go from 12 p.m. Pacific time to 2:30 Pacific time. So I don't know how to convert that for you. You got to figure that one out yourself. But from 12 and 2:30 until 2:30 Pacific time, it will be here on YouTube. I'll be sending out links in the future. I'm still kind of working on some of the tech. So just to make sure that I can have everybody on who's going to be on and make it really easy on them. So I will be sending that out. And here's how you get that information. So a couple of things. If you are already part of the Better Pickleball community, thank you. If you're already getting the weekly newsletter, don't worry about it. I'm going to send the links to you directly. If you are not part of the Better Pickleball community, this is a great time to join, because not only are you going to get those links, but you're also going to get a dynamic stretching program that I sent to the group last week. It was a brand new video that I did last week, and I did a PDF of the dynamic stretching, so you will get a copy of that, as well as the weekly newsletters. So make sure that you go down below into the show notes after this video is over, and you will find a link to register for the Pickleball Summit. So that will get you all the updated information. Because as I said, last week, this was in my brain, and now this is getting out. So as you can imagine, things are flowing and changing daily. It's just really lots of information coming one at a time. So that will be one of the ways, that the most efficient way for me to get in touch with you. There will be a couple other ways that I get in touch with you. I have planned to do a daily live from now until the summit, which will be starting on Monday. At 10 a.m. Pacific, I will be over on Facebook, which is the Better Pickleball page. And you can get to that by going to facebook.com/Better Pickleball. At 2 o'clock Pacific time, I will be here on YouTube. And sit still, sit tight, because I'm going to tell you who's joining me tomorrow. I'm going to have different guests throughout the week. So tomorrow, I already have those guests confirmed for YouTube. And they'll be here to talk not just about the summit, but to answer some of your questions. So let's see. I bet you want to know who's coming, who's speaking at the summit. Okay, so here's a rundown of the people who I have so far. First one is Barrett Kenchelo, and Barrett, you may know from here on YouTube. He's over at the Pickleball Kitchen. You may not know that he has an outstanding podcast as well. So Barrett will be joining us. Don Stanley is a USAPA certified referee, and he is also the referee trainer. If you are in the Pickleball Facebook forum, you probably have seen Don's name, and I'm going to guess that you already put two and two together, and you know that Don is going to be here to talk about the rules. And just before I came on, I was looking at the information that he had for us, and I got to tell you, it's really good stuff. It's really, really awesome. Hello, Ohio. How are you doing? Two people from Ohio, and as well as Jimbo. I like that. The mountains of Virginia. Welcome. And Alice, I see you have a question, so I'm going to make sure that we get to that later. So welcome to everybody who's joining us. So I told you about Don. Now let's go into Dr. Alan Rosenthal. And if you are familiar with this channel, you have seen Alan here before. He's the pickleball doctor. He is going to talk to us about avoiding injury, specifically lower limbs and our feet. Drew Evans. If you're over on Facebook, you may have seen Drew, and he is an absolute character. He is the pickleball librarian, and I cannot wait for you to hear his story. I am not going to steal his thunder about what he does and how he does it. He is going to be talking about some gear that you don't even know you need yet. But it's coming. He is special. I like him a lot. Ernie Medina, you've probably seen Ernie here on this channel. We did a video back, I think it was in December when I released it. We actually shot it in the summer, but typically it takes me a little bit to get those videos out. But Ernie is an assistant professor at Loma Linda University. He has been helping people get healthy and fit for his entire career. And he'll be talking some about boosting your immune system, not just for the times that we're currently in right now, but for times back into the future. Kevin Hunkel, you might not recognize that name, but I think he's going to bring about a lot of changes in pickleball. Kevin is the founder of Tyrol Pickleball, and they are the only manufacturer who makes pickleball specific shoes. So he's going to tell us what makes shoes different, not just from a performance standpoint, but from a safety standpoint. I mean, let's face it, nobody wants to get out on the courts and fall down and spend a lot of time recovering. That's absolutely no fun. So Kevin will be here as well. Let's see. Hello, Laura. Laura, new lover of pickleball from High River, Alberta. And I love your little bit of sunshine there. That's awesome. Welcome, Laura. Okay. Nicole Havlicek. She's from Primetime Pickleball. Her and Jordan put out all those outstanding videos. In fact, they are just down the way from me. They're in Concord, California. You may not know this about Nicole. Prior to converting to pickleball, she was a D1 tennis player, and she's an excellent coach and instructor. Raphael Filippini, and he's the owner of Gearbox Sports. I'm sure you've seen Gearbox on this channel. And I happen to think Gearbox makes some great paddles, but he's not going to be talking paddles. He's actually here to talk about safety. Right here. Eye safety. I personally, I have to tell you, this is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart. In 1984, I was in my early 20s, and I was a young golf professional. I was out playing golf. I've worn glasses almost my whole entire life, since 4th grade. I had on glasses. And I was playing with somebody who hit the ball off the toe of the club. So instead of flying out towards the target, it flew towards me. Unfortunately, instead of hollering "for," which is the typical term, they yelled CJ. And what do you do when somebody yells your name? Right? Turn around, look down. Took a golf ball in the eye. I almost lost my right eye, and I always say I credit two things. One is a great surgeon, but two is God. That's my higher power. There was only one reason that didn't happen. I was just not supposed to lose it. And that surgeon told me later on that even as much damage as those glasses did, because at the time that was what you made glasses out of. There weren't the other materials that we have now. The surgeon said that the only reason my eye was saved was because they helped to protect my eye from the impact. That if I hadn't had those glasses on, I probably would have lost my eye immediately. So eye health and eye safety is near and dear to my heart, and I see way, way, way too many pickleball players out there playing pickleball without something on their eyes. Raphael is going to tell us not just about the safety issue, but really how to pick the best pair for you. Talk a little bit about lenses and all that sort of thing. So he'll be here with us. And then right now, our last of our confirmed guests, last but not least, is Tony Rogue. And Tony is from Into Pickle. You've probably seen him here on YouTube. He has a great series of videos going on. It's the 4.0 project. Tony and I were talking yesterday. He and I have a very different coaching style, and I learn so much when I am talking to Tony, just because we think about things very, very differently. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy the time that we spend with Tony. So those are the guests that I have confirmed so far. There might be one or two more possibly coming in, but you'll want to make sure to join us again Monday the 23rd, Tuesday the 24th, and Wednesday the 25th. And you can come for one or for all of the sessions. Now, a couple of other things. I am looking for people to help me to moderate some of those sessions. And if you have just a little tiny bit of tech savvy and you would like to be the person who kind of facilitates some of the stuff that's going on in the chat and make sure that we get the questions that you're asking, I'd love to have you do that. So please send me an email at cj@betterpickleball.com. Again, it's cj@betterpickleball.com. Thanks to some of you who have already sent me some emails. I'm in the process of getting back to you yet today. Let's see. Something just came to mind as I was saying that, and of course, out it went. All right. I'll move on to the next thing because here's what I do it for you. Oh, it was about questions. This format, I'm going to speak to the person who's presenting is going to present for about 20 minutes on a subject of their choice, and then they're going to take your questions for the last 10 minutes. So hopefully you're going to get a chance to interact with some of your fellow pickleball players in the chat, as well as get some questions answered by some of these great pickleball players. So you definitely do not want to miss that. And again, you can get all the information down in the show notes below. I mentioned that I will be going live both on Facebook at 10 a.m. and over here on YouTube at 2 p.m. until the summit starts. And tomorrow, joining me right here on YouTube at 2 p.m. tomorrow is going to be Nicole Havlicek from Primetime Pickleball and Drew Evans, who is the pickleball librarian. So you definitely want to come back tomorrow at 2. Mark your calendars. Come back at 2 tomorrow. Because really, besides, what else are you doing? Most of us, right? Life is at a halt right now. Most of us aren't doing a lot. Many of us are self-quarantined. So make sure you come on back at 2 o'clock. And I will hopefully at that point in time, I might even have the schedule done. I am working on it right now as we speak. Now, I promised you at the top of the hour that I was going to give you an update and then answer some of your questions. So if you do have a question, please go ahead and put it in the chat. If you would, put the word question in front of it so I know for sure that that's a question. Okay. So the second thing I wanted to talk about was COVID-19. I am not an infectious disease specialist in any way, shape, or form. I have spent my entire career in health and wellness as well as a professional athlete. If you need information like that, I suggest that you go to the CDC. However, there have been a lot of questions about in groups that I'm saying, should I or should I not play pickleball? And I understand those questions. I will tell you, and I'm not going to tell you what my opinion on that particular question is. I am going to tell you about a resource that I think may help you to make a decision or confirm your decision or maybe even change your decision. Who knows? Mark Renison from Third Shot Sports a couple of days ago put out a podcast with Dr. Ann Matlow, I believe is her name. She is a retired now, great pickleball player, loves to play pickleball, but she was an infectious disease specialist and has had pretty extensive experience in this area. Her and Mark talked specifically about how this relates to pickleball and playing pickleball with other people. So I will put a link down in the show notes. It might already be there. I might have put that in this morning, but if not, I will put that in after this presentation so that you can go ahead and you can find that. But again, it's Mark Renison over at Third Shot Sports. Okay, questions. All right, I see some questions coming in. So let me see. I'm going to go over here to Allison. And Allison says, hello, Allison. How are you, by the way? How's everything going? What are the best exercise gotten online to do so that we are kept in shape for pickleball when we can finally get back to it? Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you asked. Unfortunately, like everything I say on this channel, is it depends. It depends on what your level of fitness is currently. So I'm going to give you a couple of resources because I don't know your current level of fitness. I also am going to tell you we're going to talk about this topic in the summit, so make sure you come back for that. Let's just say this, if all you do is play pickleball, and for many of you, that's all you do. You don't play pickleball, all you do is play pickleball, no strength training, no cardio, no stretching, nothing. If all you're doing is playing pickleball, my suggestion to you would be to start a stretching program, both dynamic and static stretching. So dynamic stretching is stretching while we're in motion, and static stretching is more of a still stretching. Okay, kind of like that old school that we used to do back in gym class years and years ago, where no matter when it happened, you got to a certain point and you just held that stretch. That's static stretching. Dynamic stretching we typically do to warm up, and static stretching we do usually at the end of a workout routine. If you have not been doing anything, my recommendation would be this: start stretching. Stretching can change your body, and it will change your pickleball, because I believe, I'm certain, it's not a belief, I'm certain most people never reach their pickleball potential because of their fitness is below where it should be. So I would say start stretching. That would be number one. If you need some stretching resources, last week I posted a video on dynamic stretching, and there is, at the very end, if you wait until the very end, there's a link that will take you to a PDF that has pictures and directions for all of those stretches. So that's a great place to start. I also have a static stretching video on the channel, and I can put the link down there as well. Now, if you already are doing stretching, if you already stretch a pretty fair amount, there are two other things that I would recommend. One would be balance exercise, because I think 99% of people don't do balance exercises. And the fact of the matter is, as we're getting older, our balance is getting worse. And that impacts us tremendously in pickleball. So if you really want to be better when you're on the court, you need to do some balance exercises. Guess what? CJ has a video on balance exercises on the channel too, and I will put that video down below. And those are really easily done if you could do those 2 or 3 or 4 times a day. And then lastly, the resources that I use, because I do work out from home a pretty fair amount. One of those resources is right here on YouTube. It is the Fitness Blender channel. Amazing videos. They're all free, and they're all at different levels. So, you know, from beginner to advanced. I love the way that Fitness Blender teaches modifications, and you can buy some programs that are very inexpensive, you know, like less than 20 bucks on their website, where they take those videos and they'll calendar it for you and help you get into a program. And those are all at-home videos, so typically they are done with equipment that you would have at home. So those would be the 3 resources that I would recommend, depending upon your current level of fitness. Okay, let's see, another question we had. Oh, well, username. Hello, username. I like that one. What's my favorite part of pickleball? Ooh, depends on the day. Depends on the day. Because you know, every time I go to play pickleball, I really do have a different goal in mind. Sometimes my favorite part of pickleball is being out there. My drill partner, my most common drill partner, is Jeannie. I drill a lot with Kathy as well, is going out and drilling. Tons of fun. Other days it's playing singles. I love playing singles. Last week I was out, we're out in the middle of winter. We had this just warm spell before this storm, and hadn't played in a while because I've been doing a lot of skiing. So I hadn't played some pickleball in a while, and we cleared off the outdoor courts, and it was a 50-degree day, and just being outside laughing and joking. And then sometimes playing in tournaments, being competitive. Although I will say the all-day thing about tournaments right now has kind of turned off about that. That's why I haven't been really playing any tournaments. But anyway, I digress. So I guess it really, and then of course the social, I mean, all the people that I've met through pickleball, I can't tell you what it was like to reach out to these people across the country on Monday. And by the end of Monday, I had most of these people already committed. I mean, just the camaraderie and the social aspect of pickleball to me is absolutely amazing. What's your favorite part of pickleball? I know you said, I think you said you were maybe relatively new, or perhaps that was Laura. Laura said, it's fun, challenging, and social. High River Club is a very friendly and welcoming place. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that kind of describes pickleball in an absolute nutshell. So let's see, we have got, it is 2:25. I do not see any more questions coming up in the chat. And I definitely don't want to keep you all day. But remember, we're going to talk pickleball from now until the summit starts on Monday here at 2 p.m. Tomorrow, Nicole Havlicek from Time Pickleball and the Pickleball librarian are going to, will be here. And they'll be here with some questions. So if you didn't get your question answered today, bring your questions for them tomorrow. Okay, definitely the social aspect. Yeah, I hear that. That's really good. So I will see you shortly. Check the show notes for all the information that we talked about. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Pickleball Summit. Because you know what I always tell you? Together we can train smart, live bold, and age well. Have an amazing day, everybody.